Okay, let's do this video. Composite. One salient fact about the composite is that it is closed below its uptrend line for the first time. I would consider this a close on the uptrend line. So one candle close below the uptrend line does not a downtrend make. We're going to need another close below this to give this any real credence. Could move on up tomorrow to touch this top, let's say, and maybe give a kiss goodbye or whatever. But this is a significant candle, having been a down candle after so many up candles. An actual red candle we got on the composite, and an actual break of the uptrend line. Significant. Go to Broadcom. Broadcom stayed below 37. Was weak overall, but did have a green day when the market was red overall. Nice big tail. So, just going to have to see with Broadcom. You've got a lesser slope here on the bottom, I would say. I suppose you just drop from there and say it's channeling down like this. This slope from this tail yesterday to the tail today is of lesser slope than the top trend line. So I don't know if that means strength from below, decision to maybe try to go back up. But it looks to me like if this line remains operative, we open anywhere near flat or on this line tomorrow, we could have a movement on down that doesn't result in the tail, but actually finishes out as a movement down. I do think the market is topping. I expect some downside here real soon. If it is tomorrow, Broadcom could come on down to the 20, no problem at all. 36 would be a key level. Perhaps it stops there. That would be consistent with remaining on this downtrend line for these tails. This coincidence of the 36 price level and this downtrend line established by the tails. So maybe you got a 50 to 60 range movement, 50 to 60 points for Broadcom tomorrow. Coming down to this coincident level here, this obviously strong 36 level of support near the 20, which might not have to actually get to the 20, probably would cause an intraday bounce if it fell. Nvidia wedging, making a flag basically after moving up very smartly, threatening to break this bottom trend of this flag I have drawn here. Falling below 16 would be bad. Maybe get a real nice movement down. Anyway, Nvidia flagging after moving up. Often those types of patterns break downward. SanDisk wedging, it is still between 46 and 48. And if we go to a longer term daily chart, we can see just how significant that is. That's really quite a tight range for SanDisk for such an extended period of time. And you can see that somewhat on the 10-year chart here. This restricted range flat across within a bound this tight is not usual for SanDisk. If through any of this stuff for the last several years, you just don't see this from SanDisk. So pressure is building for a move one way or the other. Should be really good once it starts. Perhaps it really does need to go down because the market strength has been bolstering it and keeping it from crashing below 46. But that's not necessarily the case. Maybe it does need to come up here, challenge these highs from the drop any period anyway, challenge these levels. Let's say come back up to the MA's 48. Maybe it wants to run up 49 and try to close. This look has the feeling of not willing to take its opportunity to fail and crash, not really wanting to. So what does that do? If it maintains this and is continuing to pressure this uptrend line, I'd say it goes out to the top side. It's not really forming a downtrend line that it's constantly pressuring unless you maybe want to draw, let's say, through here. But then if you look at that, most of its action lately has been above this line. So it's not really pressuring downward. It is, however, pressuring upward. So that this line I've drawn right here and the level of 47 are the keys to SanDisk. And if you look at SanDisk today, it went up most of the day, broke and fell, and then at the end of the day said, no, I really do want to be back up near 47. Well, maybe that is going to continue tomorrow, continue early, and it's going to move very smartly above 47. If I can get a trend line in here, price level. See how that was pressuring that right at the end of the day with a real nice movement upward. When the composites, tried to do the same, and but it had a downtrend the whole damn day. So it had a basically a downtrend, downward movement the whole day, when SanDisk had an upward movement most of the day. So given this break and fall, well, what did it do? It made it back up to the break level. Maybe that's sufficient indicator. Higher highs throughout the back part of the day, 100%, more than 100% reversal on this drop here to here. You can see I'll pull that open. Drops all the way down here, more than 100% reversal, goes up, pressuring 47 again. How convenient, right at 47. Interesting. Well, maybe it just blasts tomorrow early if it opens near or above 47. Have to see. X opened and fell immediately today, below 29. Go to X. Took this down at 75 or so right here. Gave two really nice candles that had threatened a potentially real fast bounce and recovery. Decided to take profit on that. So even though the pattern was very nice for a start, just to continue down, which it did the whole day until the very end, took some profit there. Could have easily just gone to green wash and left it, which once again was the right decision. But took the profit, and it did some funky stuff that was playable, but it was a general overall downtrend the whole day. Fourth day in a row of big down candles, which at the end of the day had a real nice recovery back up to 28. Oh wow, surprise, surprise, there's our level of 28 again. We've talked about forever about being key with X. Tried to live below 28. No, guess what? We're back at 28. So after 4 days of plummeting, does this at least give an attempt to jam back up for a little while? Try to come back up to 30. Try to stabilize some of this price action around this level. I don't know. Maybe. I think it likely that you would have a tail that remains below 28, perhaps early tomorrow, if the market is not crashing out quite yet, or even if it is, X still has the potential to bounce here and reverse a bit on this uptrend. This is a really bad fall. Maybe it's far enough for the time being. You see here right at 28 through all of this price action. That's where it launched off of to begin this latest cradle that we've been having for the past several weeks. If we have a tail down below and then start passing 28 again to the upside, you could get a real nice movement upward that, let's say, reverses this candle, maybe wants to come back up to 29. This is restricted range here. You can't really see it too well, but sure, that's possible. Break this downtrend line, maybe have some more movement upside the rest of the week. The market would have to be in support of that, I would say. This is not good where X is right now. It might have to come down and hit the actual uptrend line, as you can see here, this shell uptrend line. Maybe it does need to come all the way down here. Who knows? But these are your operative levels for tomorrow's candle. You can see down here about approximately about this level where it would intercept right about there. It'd be about 27.30, let's say, 27.25, which also is the level of horizontal support, as you can see. How convenient. So a lot of structure in X. Definitely can be playing by these price levels and all of this structure. This is a real good guide to what X might be able to do on a daily basis. So go with that. I will say that if X does not have to come back down to this uptrend line before making a move back up, farther down the line, I would consider that quite significant that it didn't have to come back down and you had an increase from this level to this level. Farther down the line, as the market gets going, if it is going to go more upside and we actually are having a decent start at an economic recovery after 4 ridiculous years of a miserable recession, which they have refused to continue to call a recession, but it's still a recession. That would indicate increasing slope. A reaction to this pretty radical movement down could have a nice reaction back up. As you see, this is a pretty bad hook down. This looks really good. Oh, it gives it all the way completely back. Well, what does it eventually do? It eventually does start to make a move and goes to new highs up here to the reasonable place for after the drop here. So this downward slope looked horrible. What did it do? Well, it just constantly made itself move back upward. If this is able to do that from these levels with X again, farther down the line you'll get some major movement action just like this. Didn't happen immediately for this one. Could happen faster with this, possibly. But further down the line you'll have some really nice stuff going on to the upside with X, especially if it wants to try to get back up in this region. That could be some extremely nice trading above 32, or I'd say even above 30 again. Once it goes back above 30 critical level in a week or two, whatever it might be, who knows, that could be really, really fast, really quick, and make this up. Possibilities. So that's X. What's the next most interesting thing going? Well, not sure. Visa, perhaps. Let's look at Visa. Great big, awesome 4th day candle up to the extremes of this gap generated by earnings. This is really damn good. So Visa, having done this, given what the market produced, it's counter to the market, so it can do whatever it wants. Here's Visa today. Little choppy at the beginning, but up and up and up and up, and all day, and ran into highs, to new highs, 4 times hitting them basically, closed at the high of the day, just straight up. Really nice. That could produce a similar candle tomorrow with an open near this top. Conversely, if the market is wanting to crash, okay, you need to pay attention to whether it starts up here and just starts giving it back immediately. You might expect a tail and then it passes it and goes higher. On those circumstances, that'd be really good. But it could still just open near and fall, make this up. Maybe it's not quite ready to go. Maybe it needs another pullback candle like this red one in the middle of these 2 greens. You get another red one down to 114. Okay, that's a nice little trade. Comes down to 114, a little lower, let's say, wicks, and starts to go up again. Any number of ways for it to get higher. It's not clean right now. It's awfully choppy, but today was quite impressive. Could follow into another day tomorrow, going above this close here. What is that? 115.24. Start living above that. Hey, it could blast. So that's pretty interesting from V. That's a good one to watch. Same for CAT. It may actually try to be above 114 tomorrow if it ever actually breaks out of this. Conversely, breaking this to the downside, you might have some real nice movement up here. And at these price levels, you can get some nice entries that remain good on a technical basis, but have small movement to take money away from you. So you have some good potentials for break evens or small losses if you happen to have the timing just a little bit off. With these higher price stocks, you can have a little more leeway with that kind of thing, it seems. It does have to move a little farther to make up your commission, but hey, it's a trade-off. What else? Netflix. Netflix looking to pressure this upside. Got strong back above 120, which is a key level. This 118 level was also seen to be important back with these wicks and tails, rather, these tails. So it didn't give back all of yesterday's fall, didn't make it all back, but it did pretty damn well, and it did it early. Netflix cradled early and stayed high the rest of the day. Here it is. Was 20 seconds away from catching this cradle start. Missed it by 20 seconds. And there it goes. Had another opportunity at it down here. that's a hard play to make. But seeing this, you might have decided at some point to give that a shot upward. I guess you could have done it. Decided, okay, if you're watching this, if you're thinking higher, if you're prepared to watch this for the entry, you can do it on this trendline break higher off this cradle, given that a gap up with a cradle up of this strength early could very well signal that you've got more upside throughout the rest of this long day to trade. You take that up as you go, breaking that trend line. Maybe you get this level here, maybe at 120.28, but very quickly it's at 34, it's at 37. You're putting in your break even immediately, and it just doesn't look back. You could have done that. You would have had to decide on this kind of deep retracement. Okay, well, guess what? After something like this upside, well, you do get a deep retracement, but is this all the exciting action we're going to get from Netflix having done this earlier? Probably not. Okay, well, guess what? Melees is a bit, moving around a lot, very difficult to try it in here. So if you want an easy entry, you go with the trendline break to the upside, and boom, there you go. And this is a movement back in the direction of the general trend, I guess, for Netflix, which has been up. And so it was a strong movement to recover this day. This day clearly didn't continue. It rejected continuing that day from the very beginning of today. And so you could have made all those decisions, decided, guess what, I'm going to hunt Netflix up. And here you go. Here's a good place to be taking it up again, right there. And that would have worked out beautifully. That could have been your strategy for Netflix if you decided to hunt it and pay close attention. This is not the chart I need. What else do I want to talk about? DuPont finally got something going to the downside. Didn't recognize this early enough. Could have played this. This was beautiful. This was very nice. And a progressive gap down off a constant but topping out trend line break. Very nice. Look at this. Double top wick break below 52. Obvious as shit. 3 days straight. This day consummating these two here, just doing nothing from the beginning. This was one that just haven't had DuPont in mind at all, but this was just beautiful. Look at this. Okay, gap down, comes up, can't even make it back to those areas, starts going down again, breaks the recovery line, cradling below here, just nice, just real nice, and then just goes the whole damn day. So this was a huge oversight just not to see this. And sometimes you just don't look at stuff that hasn't done anything for a while, but had started to identify DuPont over the last couple days as being vulnerable. And you just don't see everything. But did see this in the middle of the day. Could have traded it down a couple times. There's definitely places where you can make those decisions on this movement down. Trading was over fairly early, though. Not really early, but none of this was really available. Had stuff to do in the afternoon. But, as you can see, beautiful pattern for an all-day movement down. Quite predictable from the daily pattern. Very nice. Double top. Trendline break. Kiss goodbye, trendline break, in fact. That forms the double top. Oh, awesome. Perfect. Okay. Here you go. This candle tells everything. Not real big down for that one day. But yeah, really good. The next day, down lower. Okay. Oh, the next day gaps down even farther than that gap and then starts immediately to go lower. Okay, yeah. Think downside. Yeah, perfect. Anyway. Predictions for more of that tomorrow, maybe? Maybe it needs to get down to 50. How far do we need to come? This is pretty bad. It would be difficult for Broadcom to arrest this kind of momentum in a single day's candle without serious support from the market upside, I would think. But you never know. You never know. We are down to an area of firm support off this top and this plateau. So, perhaps this is kind of a hook over that can lead, if it doesn't continue. The slope is not particularly good for this, in my experience. Usually you want something with a little bit better slope, but yeah, it could arrest its fall here and start working its way back up and cradle on back up. Come back up to 52. Sure, it could do that. Take a little while to do that though. What else we got? Apple. Ding Apple. Play it hard. No top on it yet. Cat. We already talked about Cat. 114 critical level on Cat. GM. GM did finally break the uptrend line it had maintained. This is kind of the hook over. This is a hook over with more slope, more aggressive to begin with. That with this type of formation, you get the okay, there we go. And guess what? This point down here, there we go. We're going higher. So this began with a gap, went lower, and then moved up. It's an ice cream candle to show that. So all of that movement up, I think, kind of delayed this movement here. So this looked pretty weak, but guess what? It still did it. So this hook over, that's kind of what I'm talking about, that type of movement, also, especially off a cradle, also off a cradle from double bottom. You're looking for an extension. Here's a good extension point. Hook over. Okay, going to extend. Don't know exactly how you're going to do it. Goes higher. Finally broke the uptrend line. So falling below 25, say, yeah, go ahead and believe in that downside. This is a long-term movement. Long-term, what do I mean by long-term? This movement here has been repeated here. If you look closely, you can see it was repeated. If you draw between those slots, it was repeated with lesser slope. Lesser enthusiasm in the move up here. So, does that mean this is going to be a bigger fall and we're going to have a real pullback? Lesser slope, slope degradation for the actual peaks. Have to see. May very well have a somewhat of a retracement. This retraced 100% after this one. This is getting from here to here, same distance, lesser slope, took longer to do it. At the very least, you might expect that you would get a 50% retracement. If this is headed up long term, still this is a lesser slope, took longer to do. Okay, well that could mean you have to come down to 23 before you actually start staging higher. Maybe not. I have to just play it by ear, take a look at it, because here's the GM long-term chart. Nice movement. Think we might need some pullback before it goes higher down here, maybe? Sure, why not? Why not? 23 right there. Okay, pull back to this level. Do we need to pull back here? And then we can go higher? Probably. I would rate that as a probably. So, it's GM. What else? Not much in the mood to go with this right now. Best Buy. Doing well in this channel after these nice movements up, these 2 awesome days. Ready to go higher. This is ready to go higher. So I kind of think it will. We've got 3 ascending tails off the MAs, off this important level of support here, which served as a top, came back down. Again, check it out. Cradle into a hook pattern right down here. Okay, you're going higher. Did it right there. There's your hook, like GM showed. Very nice. Goes higher. Comes back down. Okay, coming back up. Working above this level. Here's your downtrend line through this area here. Well, guess what? You're above that. You're above that, and now you're looking maybe to break out of the parallel downtrend. Go into a new mode of moving upward. Test these highs at 26. And maybe Best Buy really does want to come up here and start to close this gap, 27.50 up here or so. When would that do that? With a nice open tomorrow that either wicks off of or tails off of this top trend line here, tails off the support from some of these closes, and decides to pass its open and start heading up, or a gap up and go. Best Buy tomorrow, definitely one to be paying attention to. Pay attention to Best Buy tomorrow. I think it could be really good. If the market wants to take another final stab at the upside, Best Buy could benefit from that hugely. So, what else? XOM still looking weak. Currently supported by its 50 moving average on the daily, 50 DMA. Could break below it. McDonald's still weak below 100, not collapsing, but looking like it could begin a collapse. Sure, this is not looking particularly good. So this is now a downtrend for McDonald's, I would say. So certainly over the last several days. If this gets going, yeah, you could really start seeing a fall and peel over. It won't give it up immediately. It'll probably fall and peel over, come down a certain amount, likely along this line, parallel to the tops, hit the bottom of this channel, maybe hit 97 or so, give a nice little bounce up to mid-range, maybe even go higher. Who knows? Very well could drop from 99 to 97 relatively quickly, single day, couple of days, hit this downtrend pattern here, and that's what I think will happen with McDonald's. I think it will be weak. I think it will come down and will hit 97. That's the prediction. I'll make that call. I think that's it. I think that's all I want to really go over right now. I'll talk about Google real quick. Google falling back below 610. This could be a peel over, hook back down. Might be more downside in store for it. It does seem to have horizontal price support right here through these tails. Pretty decent. If it is going to start working its way back above 610, I do think it will move to 620, 630 and close this gap. So I'll take a look. It actually has done really well to almost close this gap with some of these tails and some of this price action getting pretty close. So Google probably in limbo for a little bit longer unless the market just wants to take it down and it starts moving below these MAs again. Certainly starts falling back below 600. Pay close attention to that. People would not want Google to be falling below 600. Conversely, getting wind off of 600 could carry it really nicely. Say it comes down, hits off 600, doesn't go below 600, doesn't stay below 600, goes back, maintains near it. What could it do from there? Well, it could just hook right on higher, go up to 640, close the gap, no sweat. If it could do that, that could be a little bit of retracement before you seriously hook higher. So, Google. And that's all I want to talk about. So,